Okay, so I've got a green Parker 938 grain cart. Great cart, metal straight, good flighting, but God, it's ugly. It's spent its entire life outside. It is rusted. It just is not very eye appealing. And I can't stand that on the farm, because if I'm going to have old stuff, I at least want it to look nice. So we're going to stop at O'Reilly's and get some paint. We're going to stop at Harbor Freight and get some supplies. I already have some supplies at home. I've got to get the grain cart all cleaned up. And then, so this is Monday. Tuesday, we're going to be cleaning it up, taping it off, taking parts off of it. Wednesday, I'm hoping to blow primer in the morning, immediately chase that with blowing black paint. Goal here for this project is kind of show how much I don't know anything about painting, but learning. So Grayce and I will be tearing this apart, I think. It'll probably be mostly me, a little bit of Grayce. Hope she jumps in and helps. I'm sure she will. She loves this kind of stuff. We're going to have a breakdown of all the costs, the paint, the supplies, everything I've got into it. And show you the beginning, show you the finished product, and show you everything in between. Give me tips below if I'm doing anything wrong. Oh, for the love of God, please help me out. I want to get better at this because I love painting. I love making old stuff look new. It's a lot cheaper to buy paint than it is machinery. So we'll just buy the paint and make the old machinery look new instead of upgrading the equipment. Tag along, looking forward to it. See you guys. All right, here's the haul from Harbor Freight. We're gonna throw all this in the truck and get back on the road.
Okay, before we get started with today's video, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Camel City Mill. So in this video, we're getting ready for harvest, but I'm sure you can tell now I'm standing in an already cut bean field. So in the future, we've already started harvest, which means long days, long nights, and nothing puts a wrench in my day like sweaty feet, sore legs, and a big hole in my socks. So you're probably wondering, Grayce, what is Camel City Mill? It is a durable work sock that has made a huge difference in my day-to-day life, and they are made 100% in the USA. These socks are made of sweat-wicking merino wool and keep your feet 35% drier compared to cotton or polyester socks. They're also double-plated in the heel and toe with nylon, so you can say goodbye to blisters. And for those sore legs, they have just the right amount of arch and calf support to help with circulation, and this circulation promotes faster recovery on those long days. Do yourself a favor and get a pair of these socks by going to camelcitymill.com and use my code Grayce10 for 10% off your first order. Orders usually ship within the first 24 hours, and anything over $50 ships for free. Again, that is camelcitymill.com, and use my code Grayce10 to see how these socks will last for those heavy-duty jobs. Thank you so much to Camel City for sponsoring today's video, and thank you so much to all of you guys watching for making opportunities like this possible for me. Now let's paint a grain cart.
We made it home. Good old Missouri. There's something I forgot to tell you guys about this grain cart. The tarp ripped and I haven't bought a new tarp for it yet. I forgot there was about 40 bushels of beans in the bottom of it, and they're nice and moldy. So we gotta rinse those out. And then we'll rinse the outside. And then we'll buff it with the DA. And then we'll wipe it down with degreaser. And then we'll paint it. All right, I was gonna hook the grain cart up to the tractor, but Jaron brought the skid loader back, so we're just gonna use the skid loader instead. That doesn't look very safe. That does not look very safe at all. We're gonna try it. Now we have to go get a pallet to put that power washer on. And I'll raise that power washer up. And then jump out, kick the water on, climb up in there, and start power washing. Sometimes it's just so stupid it works. I'm so stupid and I'm gonna pay the price. This is disgusting. We've already opened up the trap door on the bottom. This spot, I wish YouTube and wherever else you're watching this, I wish it had smell. I wish you could smell this video. About a long time with this until dark, so you can imagine what the rest looks like. Yuck. It's almost dark. I got all of it except for what's in the bottom of the auger pan. I worked on it for 30 minutes and I got it as clean as I can get it. So unless I wanted to hook the PTO up and run it and get back in here, which I will not do, it's too dangerous. Even with someone else here, I don't want to do that. So we're going to call it good. And I'm going to go in and take a shower because I smell like moldy soybeans. Well, I got 80 grit sandpaper, but as you can see, that's not the right size sander. I accidentally bought that felt back 80 grit. So we're hitting these heavy rust spots with it. You can see I haven't done this yet, and I have done that. And these smooth areas that don't really have any rust, we're just wanting to scuff it up. We're using the 120 grit on the DA, and that's working really, really well. I've done the upper half, and I've done, I think you can see that in the video over here. I have not done over there. Grayce was kind enough to take the spout off for me last night. We've sanded this down. Still got to blow it off with a air compressor and wipe it off. We have not done that. Grayce is coming back. She ran to town to grab some breakfast and coffee, and she's also getting some goo gone to hopefully take these stickers off so I don't have to spend 2 hours grinding them off. They're real adhesive and sticky and just kind of sucks to do with the grinder or the sander, so I'm gonna try to make that a little bit easier. Since this is your YouTube channel anyways.
I got some of this paint stripper called Citrus Strip, right?
Yep.
And I'm putting it on the stickers to, I'm also gonna put it there, where there was a sticker.
I tried to get that one off with the sander and it left all the gummy stuff.
Well, basically what this is going to hopefully do, we're gonna leave it for 30 minutes and we should just be able to scrape it off instead of have to sand them off.
And yes, we are taking all of the warning stickers off so I can paint, but I bought new ones through the John Deere dealer, so they will all be being put back on.
Yep. I was being silly. I didn't realize that it would dry as fast as it did because the package said that you could leave it on for up to 24 hours and it would still work, so I just assumed that it would not dry, and because it's really thick. But given the weather conditions, it dried really fast. So I went to the dollar store and got some really cheap plastic wrap, and I'm just gonna lay that on top of everything when I get done. So hopefully that will help keep it from drying out. So get a nice thick coat on there. This is not a tutorial. I just want to be clear. And just lay it on like so. Lightly, but also firm so it doesn't come off. Ta-da! And now we're gonna do that all the way around the grain cart on all the stuff that I already put the paint stripper on.
So Grayce was kind enough to get me the correct DA 6-inch pads. So we've got 40, 60, 100, you got some 150, I think. 100's working really good. It's a perfect medium between obviously 80 and 120. This paint here, since it's not pitted, I'm really not trying to take it down to bare metal. I'm just scuffing up the current paint that's there. And this 100 is working really good for that. So instead of doing a pass with 80 and then coming back and hitting it with 120, we're just hitting it with 100. And then we'll clean it off, and I'm gonna spray right onto that. I don't know if you'll be able to tell with the camera. There's just enough swirls in there that I think the primer is gonna stick to that very well. I haven't done this yet, and this has been done. You can kind of see where there is little spots of rust. I hit it a little bit harder, but where it's not rusty, I'm just scuffing it real quick and moving on.
Probably clean the lens, huh? Much better.
Is the lens clean?
Yep.
Okay. Oh. I like this a lot because it's got a handle that I can really shove it into the paint if I want. Yep. Gotta have the sound effects. I would like to say what I'm doing is like a doctor doing surgery with no license. I don't take this as advice. Take this as this is what I'm doing, and maybe a year from now we'll look back and see if it worked. This could work terribly, who knows, but it sounds right in my head, so we're gonna keep doing it.
Good enough. Okay, so I'm sure whenever I said I was putting paint stripper on the stickers to try and remove them, a lot of y'all probably screamed, but it worked on the first one we did, so we decided to do it on the other ones, and most of it's not working, but this one is, see, it worked perfectly on this one.
And that's the citrus strip?
Yeah, this is the citrus strip. But on some of them it's not working as well, and I think it's because like these ones, the dealership stickers, they're more of like the plasticky film stickers. Not dealership stickers, manufacturer stickers. They're like a plasticky film kind of sticker, whereas the dealership stickers are like papery, if that makes any sense. So I think that's why these ones are working so well and we're not having this good luck with these because of the citrus strip can't penetrate through the plastic as well as it can down through the paper. You see what I mean? It like it doesn't go down in there at all because it can't break through that plastic.
It does do an amazing job on the paint though.
Yeah, it does. That's what I really wanted to try it on because I see people use it all the time. And I've always wanted to try it, so now I have. Yeah, it just didn't really do anything but take the ink off of that. So when I went and grabbed us lunch, I stopped at O'Reilly's and got this decal and adhesive remover. Probably would have been better off just getting this in the first place, but I wanted to try the citrus strip because it sounded cool. So I'm gonna spray it down with some of this. Make sure it get around the edges real good. I want to get it on there nice and thick so it doesn't dry out. And then we'll put our plastic back on. And this one has to sit for 10 to 15 minutes.
Yep.
What you doing?
Thank God we got a forklift. I'm too tired to manhandle tires today.
Too tired for tires.
Too tired for tires. This one's not even flat. Normally they're flat. Every one of those little corners, there's an opportunity for a piece of dirt to be stuck in there. Oh, yeah. And when it's stuck in there, that paint will eventually chip. To wipe it off, I think I'm gonna spray the primer on here, then fold the auger out so I don't have to be sky high with the forklift. And then once that's folded up out of the way, we can start working our way down. Finally got done wiping it off. Dad's finishing taping the tire. I'm wetting the gravel. Dad wetted the gravel earlier. I'm re-wetting it. It's already dried. This takes forever, but we are ready to blow some primer. As soon as I get this done and get some paint mixed up. Now, I didn't have this idea all on my own to wet the gravel down. It wouldn't have even crossed my mind, but it makes perfect sense. There is a slight breeze today, and a guy on TikTok, I don't remember his username now, but I've been posting videos on there as we go, and he said, the guy on TikTok said, wet your gravel down if you're painting outside, because if there's a breeze, or if you're kicking dust up with your gun, or as you walk around, it's gonna get dust all over what you're painting. So shout out to that guy, because I wouldn't have thought of that. All right, we're gonna start mixing up the primer. This stuff was very chunky, so I've been stirring for about 5 minutes. We're gonna mix 32 ounces of that, 32 ounces of the activator, throw it in the gun. I went and picked up some full-thane fisheye eliminator. We had a little, I'll go show you. We had a little bit of trouble, I can see, with some fisheye. I don't know if I was getting air in my air line or there's still contaminants on the metal. It's not super noticeable. Maybe on camera, missed a spot. Oops. But it's there. So it was like 30 bucks, cheap insurance. I'm gonna make sure right now that all of the water is out of my air compressor. First, we'll do the bottom of the air compressor itself. Yum. And then next, we will do my end line. Quite a bit of water in there. Must have built up overnight. It was empty. I actually drained it before I got done, or right as I got done painting last night, and it was pretty clear. So we're gonna be draining that very often today, doing the black. I'm much more worried about the black than I am the primer, so we're gonna start mixing, get to work. First, we're putting the gun back together. So, we've got the Nason fisheye eliminator, Nason activator, the black urethane, and the reducer. And it's mixed at a 8 to 1 to 2.5 ounce. If I'm mixing up a quart, 32 ounces. So, get a bucket here. Oh, I'm so giddy. Stir stick. Oh, this is really smooth. That primer took like 10 minutes to get stirred up. This is ready to pour. And then a little bit of the fisheye remover. And I don't have a way to measure this, so we're just gonna go with a splash. Wait a second. Oh, okay. Just a splash. Okay, we'll try that. Fair warning, if you're contemplating painting a grain cart, just know it's gonna take you a long time. I've got almost 5 hours wrapped up in 1.5 coats. About 4 hours for one coat on this whole thing. It looks so good, guys. It looks really, really good. I've got 1 or 2 runs on the whole thing, which I'm happy with. They're there, but I was expecting more than that. God, this just looks so freaking good. I will tell you, if you're considering doing a project like this, take the whole thing down to bare metal if you have any ugly spots at all. So the way we took these decals off and then I buffed some spots down to bare metal, you can see right where those are at. Whether you sandblast it or use a DA like we did, sandblasting would probably go quicker. That DA would take forever and a year if you were doing the whole thing. But everywhere there was rust, you can see it. You couldn't really see it with the primer, but in person you can see it with the black. I was hoping I'm gonna end up having like 3 to 4 coats on most of this. I was hoping the paint would be thick enough it would even that up, and it's not going to. But man, it looks so good. I'm gonna take the tractor, back it up over here and fold this down. We weren't able to put black, all kinds of overspray. Man, looks like I got a tattoo. We're gonna, we'll go ahead and get in the tractor now and back it up, hook that hydraulic up, put the auger down and paint that. There's a little bit yet I've got to hit for the second time. I've got about 3/4 of a gallon of black paint left. I started with 3 gallons total, so we've used over 2/3 of it. I'm so happy. This looks good. This is gonna look really good once we get the decals on it. Yeah. I don't have to hook it up, I just gotta get close. You can see that's, still gotta paint that, and gotta paint this. But we can hit all of this from the ground instead of me being 20 some foot up in the air, 15 foot up in the air with forklift. That'll just be a little bit safer. I'm gonna move that tractor, set this camera down, refill with paint, and get back at it. We got it done. Okay, let me show you guys everything we did. Obviously we painted, taped this off. All in all, we had just a little over 75 man hours in this whole thing. We're still waiting on decals. We gotta put a decal there, a bunch of them here, a bunch of the warning ones. But overall, it looks good. We've got to fix the bearing yet. Side Instructors called me and they just said the bearings came in this morning, so we're gonna knock out a few acres of beans and be real gentle. I grease the heck out of that one that's going bad, and then we'll get it to them this weekend when it starts raining, and then we'll be in great shape by next week. And the decals should be in, so it'll be technically 100% done then. But this is good enough to take to the field. Paint turned out great. There's a few runs in a couple places, but overall very happy with it, for me not knowing what the heck I'm doing other than watching a few YouTube videos and getting some tips from Jaren's brother. If I could do it all over again, the only thing I would change is I would have taken the entire side panel down to bare metal. So what we did was we sanded most of it, but a lot of the areas I just kind of roughed up and got as smooth as I could while leaving the paint, thinking the paint would be thick enough that it would cover all that up and it would be smooth, but it's not. I should have either sprayed another couple coats of paint or taken that down to bare metal. We checked, there's no play in the bearings. We checked those are good before we put the tires back on. The silver turned out great. We taped off all of these warning lights. Garrett got all of the warning lights working. He also, Garrett's my older brother, he also put a LED light up on the end of the auger, and we ran a limit switch so that light only comes on when the auger's folded out. Otherwise it would be on the whole time whenever the headlights are on the tractor. So that is really cool. I've never had that before. Super pumped to be able to load trucks at night without spilling. I only missed one spot the whole time we were painting. It was up in there, but I got a rattle can of black that's fairly close, so nobody has to know that. We put the operator's manual back on. That came off with some screws. Everything else is good. Might replace a couple of the hydraulic hoses. They're not leaking, but there's a few spots where they're worn. So if we do get a few rainy days, just as preventative, so we don't have a breakdown while we're harvesting, we'll probably go ahead and fix those hoses. Oh, in the back. We missed a spot.
Back it up.
This right here. It's a magnetic backup camera. And we ran the wire all the way up to the cab. Well, we'll show you in the cab what the monitor looks like. I actually bought that like 4 years ago, and it's been sitting in my shop. I bought it for my last Parker cart. I had a Parker 510, the old lime green one with the corner auger, and we just never put it on, never got around to it. But for this project, since we're making it look so nice, I thought we're finding that box, and then we had to dig for like 10 minutes, but we found it and we got it put on. So I'll show you what that looks like in the cab. Okay, so up here in the cab, it's a really nice 7-inch monitor. It's got a sun guard. The cable is running behind this bar, and it runs down here. It splits and goes back to the feed on the camera, and then runs down here with the cigarette lighter for power. Click your button on. Hell, we'll just turn it on real quick and I'll show you. There's the forklift and the skid loader, live feed. There's an option to put another camera, so we've got channel 1 and channel 2. My thought is I will just leave this camera in here, or leave the screen in here, and unplug right there, and put a different camera on the planter and whatever else I might need to see behind me. That way I can use one screen, but have multiple pieces of equipment that I can now see behind, because we do travel a lot on the road and it can be dangerous, and that's just one extra thing we can do to be safe while we're traveling, and it allows us to see equipment or vehicles quicker so we can pull over and let them get by, because it's really difficult to see behind that grain cart. We don't want trucks stuck behind us for 4 miles if we can keep from it. So just a little bitty thing that took an hour to install, a little less than an hour, and is going to be well worth it. So all in all, very happy with the way the cart turned out. Thank you guys for watching.